Hey everybody, it's Rory from ANSgear. We've got a 98 Custom or 98 Pro E-grip set up in front of us today. We're going to show you basically where all the parts go, what pieces you'll need to change or take apart or disassemble in order to get this to install in the gun. You'll definitely want to follow the instructions though, because this is not going to be a complete installation guide. This is just really going to be, these are the parts, this is kind of where they need to go, and these are the pieces you need to change out. So you're going to get these pieces you see in front of us. You're also going to get two different hammers that are inside here. Depending on the gun you're using, you'll definitely want to change the hammer. If you have a used gun already and you try to run an E-frame with the increase in speed, if your hammer is worn in any way, there's a chance that it might slip. So just switch it out for a new one. That way you get the best contact between hammer and sear so that you don't get any slippage when you're trying to shoot the gun. And definitely, again, follow the instruction manual on the inside there. So we'll talk about what we need to do here and what our parts are. We've got our capacitor, our board and our solenoid, wire harness, new sear, magnet, sear spring, and the armature pin. And these pieces you need to use inside here. So I've already taken all my screws out so that I can just open this up. So we're going to take the top off here and move it over. Couple things you're going to need to do with the rubber grips is you need to cut out the front of the grips so that you can access the two holes that are in the grip. One hole is going to be for you to either put an Allen key or a screwdriver in to push a button that will let you control your modes. And the other hole is going to be so that you can see a light on the board, and the light tells you what modes you're doing and what you're changing on the gun. So you need to expose both those holes by just cutting a slight little small piece of the rubber of the grips out. And that the channels are already there for you. You just need to cut the channel completely out. So it's very, very straightforward. Secondly, on the left side of the receiver body, there is a plate that you need to cut out or knock out. You can see it right here, this square plate that is right there. That's where your 9-volt battery is going to sit. So you need to actually hammer this piece out. You do that by laying it flat on the bottom or on the table like this. Get a punch, and you just start on the corners and you hammer it lightly. You don't need to beat on it all the way around the edges until the plate pops out. And it's already cut so that it is easy to hammer out, but you do need to knock that out. Otherwise, you'll have no place to put your battery. All right, so when it comes to the parts, when you're doing the disassembly, there are a couple things you'll need to do. First, you'll need to remove the original sear and the original sear spring. We have a new sear and a new sear spring that we're going to put in its place. And also on the trigger, we're going to remove the trigger spring, but we're just going to set that to the side because we're going to reuse the trigger spring, and we need to pull the trigger out itself. Now this piece of the trigger right here, which rides against the sear in the original version, you want to remove that out because you don't want to use this part to activate the gun anymore. You want to use the micro switch and the armature to activate the gun. So you don't want this accidentally bumping against your sear and causing the gun to shoot. So we're going to pull that off of there. I might not be able to get this off with my fingers, but I do have this pick here, so see if I can get that off of there. If not, we can keep going forward without removing it, but it looks like I can get it off of there without stabbing myself. Yeah, it's not going to want to come out of there. So basically you need to pop both those tabs up, slide this piece out. There's a spring underneath it. You just set it to the side. You're not going to reuse that part at all. So once you get that off, then we can go ahead and put our new sear in. So we'll put our new sear in there, our new sear spring. Drop that down in. And then, whoops, be careful. You don't want these things getting away from you. They will shoot out of sight quicker than you can blink. Put that back in here. You see how close those two pieces are right there? That's why you want to remove that piece out of there. And then put our trigger spring back in. From there, we're going to have the solenoid. There's a cutout in the bottom right there where our solenoid can sit. Our board is going to fit into its grooves right like that. And then our micro switch has 2 holes in it, and there's 2 little pins right there. So we would go ahead and just drop those in there. So that's roughly how the board and micro switch and solenoid are going to sit, like that. We'll get in there. Then we've got our capacitor. Going to plug into the board, and it's going to sit right down there. Our wiring harness is going to plug into the board, and our 9-volt battery is going to sit right in this area where we've cut out the window in our other frame. Our magnet is going to sit in this spot down here, and it's very important that you do put the magnet in, and it doesn't get lost, or you don't forget to put it in there, because what the magnet does is it pulls the part of the solenoid, the armature of the solenoid, down so that it recycles every time. If the solenoid didn't have its magnet in there and it fired, there's a good chance it would just stay up and never reset itself. So the magnet is there to reset the solenoid armature back down so it's ready to shoot again. And then our armature pin is going to fit right up through here. And you kind of have to get the wiring out of the way. You'll need to put all your wires in the right spot so that everything is clear. And that's going to sit right in there. And that's going to come up. So every time the solenoid fires up this way, it pushes the armature up, which pushes the armature pin up into the sear, causing the sear to release and the gun to shoot. So you want to make sure, it's very important that all your wiring is clear of your armature pin and nothing is getting crushed or in the way. It's very easy to not take the time and set the wiring up properly, and you'll end up just crushing it and breaking it. So take the time to do it properly. Make sure you switch out your pieces, and make sure on the trigger that you do remove the spring and the plate, and you can go from there. It's a pretty straightforward install. Just follow the instructions and you'll have your gun up and shooting electronically in no time. Definitely higher rate of fire, plus you'll get all the firing modes that you could possibly ever want. So if you're looking to increase the performance and max out the available performance of the gun, pick up an E-frame kit for your A5 or your 98 Custom or your Platinum Series or your Pro. It'll definitely improve the performance of your gun. They're available through the website. Order yours now through ANSgear.com.